What advice do you have for people who may be just starting out on their chronic illness journey? So now they're faced with first maybe getting a diagnosis. Maybe they felt a lot of muscular pain. So they don't really know what's happening to their bodies, but they know that there's discomfort. Because you were once at that place. Mm-hmm. The whole mission of this project is to help enlighten people. What advice do you have for those people who are just starting to go down that path?
I think first, give yourself a lot of grace and give yourself all of the room you need to deal with the emotional side of this. And when you start having these really significant issues that are affecting your daily life, start there. Don't wait till things get so out of control and so bad that you're really, really suffering. I think if you have that available to you, go to the doctor as soon as you can. Ask the doctor all the questions and try to keep track as much as you can of what all of your symptoms are, whether you think they're connected or not. When I was first diagnosed with different things, I had a weird eye infection and I had some issues that the doctor thought were with my thyroid or endocrinologist and different things. And I had to start noting those things down. And I think if you take a notepad to your doctor's appointment, they're going to take you more seriously and you're going to feel less chaotic when you walk out of the door if you've written down all of the things that they've told you. And so when you go to that next doctor's appointment, you have a little bit of a reference to go off of. I also really recommend looking at your doctor's summary or requesting a doctor's summary after those visits so you can see what the doctor took from that interaction and what they noted down as things to watch or things that were noteworthy. And that's going to be different for everybody, but I think it's something that I didn't learn to do until years after I had been diagnosed. And now I'm a little bit more proactive about doing that. And my arthritis doctor is really great about giving me a great summary, and his notes are on those paperworks too. So whatever he's watching for, I can kind of be watching for too. So if that's Rein is starting to have things that look more like more rheumatological issues, so we're going to keep an eye on that. And that tells me that that might be inflammation, or they call it morning stiffness, where you wake up and you just feel real locked up and tight. That's a big symptom for me, and I didn't know at first how important that was for the diagnosis process. And they really need to know how long that lasts and different things. And I don't know how well doctors are really giving the patient those indicators, or if they're just waiting for the patient to complain about something. And so sometimes those doctor's notes are really helpful to try to keep track of all those different things. And I think if it's available to you too, finding somebody that has either gone through something similar, or there's a lot of great support groups online. So if you do get a diagnosis for something, you can immediately go find people that have also been struggling with that. And it makes you feel a lot less alone, and it makes you feel a lot more hopeful about how you can get treatment that you need. But I would really recommend, if you get a diagnosis that's a long-term chronic illness, to start building some supports around you that will help you navigate not just the physical things and not just the kind of obvious of what treatments might work for different people, but on the kind of emotional side of things or the mental health side of things, it can be really, really devastating to get a diagnosis that you know is a forever thing. And so finding support groups, whether that be online or in person, can be really, really impactful.
The mission of the Rainy Day Adventures Project is to inspire people and have them understand that this is not them being confined to the house or very limited activities. We want to encourage people to go out. Mm-hmm. Give us a message of encouragement, if you can, and let people know that, that they can manage kind of their own pathway through this.
I think when you first get diagnosed with something that is really hard to deal with, that's lifelong, it can be easy for you to just retreat into yourself or into your house, into your couch, into your bed. And sometimes that is what you need. Sometimes you do just need to veg out and let yourself rest. And I don't ever want someone to feel bad about needing to do that. But I think it's important to remember the things that do bring you joy and do bring you a sense of purpose, or just that kind of life-giving thing, whatever it is for you. And maybe it's playing the guitar, maybe it's playing the piano, maybe it's doing a hobby that you like. But for me, it's being outdoors and being active. And for my specific chronic illness, they encourage a little bit of that. You know, they don't want you to overdo it. They don't want you to hurt yourself in the process. But for arthritis, it's something that they'll tell you to do when you first get diagnosed, is to start going on walks around the neighborhood. Or for me, it was yoga. I got really into yoga after my diagnosis, and it was probably a few years after my diagnosis. I think I was somebody that did sort of retreat at first and just let myself, you know, sleep anytime I had a second to sleep, because it was the only time I wasn't in pain. And I think that those things are valid too, but as much as you can to try to get yourself to see life and experience life in the way that you've always wanted to is a really important thing when you're dealing with chronic illness. So if you can get outside and sit in the grass, or just go sit on a bench by some water and kind of just be a person, then being a person outdoors, for me, is at least really, really healing. So going on, you know, crazy adventures might be what you want to do, but maybe it's just jumping in a kayak in a river and relaxing for a few hours. And I think for me, that has been a huge treatment in my process, in my illnesses, was that, you know, that was really the best medicine I could ask for. And not that it replaces others, but it made a huge difference in my life.